Wow, so this news story is pretty fascinating because it appears that CNN might actually be turning a complete new leaf and completely rebranding what they do. This is very fascinating. Jeff Zucker, who is the former CEO, has left. He got into a big scandal because of the situation with Chris Cuomo. Remember, he was the CNN host that was, he was just talking with his brother, who was the governor of New York, while he was undergoing that big scandal. So it's a huge conflict of interest and big issue that the guy who is the family member and trying to consult his brother, who's the governor, is also on the news show. And also, there's no way he would have got that job if his brother wasn't the governor. If you look at like all those hosts on CNN, it'll be like, oh, their husband is a Wall Street CEO. Oh, Chris Cuomo's brother is the governor of New York. Oh, Anderson Cooper. He's an heir of the Vanderbilt family, which is worth like damn near $1 billion or something like that, or maybe billions. I don't know, maybe 600 million. Every single person on there has power in some way, and that's how they got the job. So, anyways, CNN really has one distinct thing about them. CNN is all about covering breaking news stories. I think I had seen Jenk break this down. I don't know what video this is in. I can't remember if it was like an old video, if it was a somewhat newish video, but he was basically giving his breakdown because he used to be on MSNBC himself. And he was saying that basically when he was at MSNBC, breaking stories were called CNN stories. That's basically what they focus on. And that's what they still do to this day. They're all about getting the breaking story out there. That's what it is. So here's what it says. New CNN President Chris Licht. This is him, by the way. Definitely an interesting looking guy. Definitely, he's got a little bit of a Ted Cruz vibe to him. So his new CNN President Chris Licht announced a number of changes to the network's editorial strategy in a couple months, signaling his first initiative since taking over as head of the cable news giant last month. Over the past 4 weeks, I've had the opportunity to meet hundreds of you in person and virtually. I look forward to more in the coming days and weeks. I travel to Atlanta, London, Los Angeles, and back to Washington this month, Licht wrote in a memo sent to employees on Thursday. Our conversations have provided invaluable insight into the company and the issues on your minds. Thank you for your honesty and transparency. It's crucial to our success. This is where it gets really interesting. It says, Licht said the network would pull back on usage its often displayed breaking news banner that has become a staple of the network's graphics and chyrons in recent years. If you don't know what the chyron is the little bar at the bottom, which is breaking. John trips over a dog. That's the chyron. That's the chyron. I always mix it up. Chyron. It says it has become such a fixture on every channel and network that its impact has become lost on the audience, Licht wrote, adding the network had updated its internal guidebook for what constitutes breaking news. So I'll even put out breaking in a story, even if it was like if it happened like 8 hours ago sometimes. So I'm a bit guilty on that too. But the point is their channel, their news channel is all about breaking the story, giving the first information, giving that information. And there's really a big debate, I would say a big divide when it comes to news, because when it comes to news, you have breaking the story, being quick, but you also need to offer some kind of analysis on the situation. At least supposedly, the news at its rawest is just giving you information. What happened? Oh, what happened here? What happened at the ice cream shop at 325? That's the news, but people need to understand more about it. People need to think about it, and so they need someone to help them break down stuff or take them through this information. So that's kind of one of the big debates is, okay, you have like Kyle Kalinske from Secular Talk, for example. He doesn't care about that at all. I think he just hates that completely. In his video where he called Crystal Ball a dumbass on MSNBC because, she had said something stupid that was an attempt at trying to break a story, but really it was ridiculous. He basically made it clear that, these news networks are all about just breaking the story. And he was saying that with while scoffing at it, essentially, right? So there's that, but then there's also now you have people who don't even cover news because it's 3-4 days ago. Is it news if you're covering a story from 3 or 4 days ago? I don't think that's news. I think that's just your analysis of it, which is fine. That's its own thing. And so they're trying to switch, I think, just from doing the breaking stuff where you just give the raw information and, bring on Senator Jimmy Jammy and he can break it down, or bring on Sergeant Jujon or something like that. You know what I mean? Like Sergeant John or just bring some random guy on. Not random guy, but, person who's in it. Oh, okay, well, what exactly happened? Did you see this? Instead, I think what they're trying to do is okay, let's get more into the analysis zone. Let's give our analysis on things. Let's bring expert analysis who can break down information. So this will be a complete transformation of their channel if this is what they're trying to go for. It continues, it says, it certainly will need tweaks, so we are open to feedback, but this is a great starting point to try to make breaking news mean something big is happening, he said. So he's trying to give it more value as well, and I really believe he's just trying to move away from that. So CNN has also created a new beat focusing on guns in America. Licht announced, though, the network's top boss did not provide details on who at the network would fill their role or when coverage would begin. CNN is uniquely positioned to foster informed policy discussions in this space and help illuminate possible solutions to America's epidemic of gun violence, he wrote. So there's some criticism of news networks right now. Like I just saw Brooke Baldwin. She was a huge host on CNN, like probably one of the most popular hosts for like 10 years. And she came out and basically said that CNN networks like CNN basically just are all about just breaking the story for the 48 to 72 hours, that it's profitable for them, make the profit from the story coverage, and then they just move on. And after the numbers are not beneficial to them anymore. Now, honestly, I think that the news coverage of these shootings and things that are going on are actually inspiring copycats. I know this is going to be a controversial statement, but I do believe that because there's an all of a sudden boost of all of these events that are happening as it simultaneously is completely exploding in the news sphere, and we're also starting to point out other ones constantly. And so these people are seeing that and going, oh, I want my 2 minutes of fame. I want to be known as this. I want everyone to know me, especially because there are a lot of people who are losers out there with like no self-value or any of that kind of thing. And as a human, you got to get value from somewhere. Maybe it's something your parents say or your loved one says, your partner, or something you feel accomplished by your schoolwork or some kind of achievement you feel. Those kinds, everybody needs that. A lot of people don't have that. And so for them, it's like, I can get it from the news covering me, right? And so I think that's what's going on. But she was saying that basically all they do is they just cover it for that 72 hours or whatever, 48 hours, and then they just move on. When it's not beneficial for them. So what he's saying here is, we're gonna cover it more. We're going to give analysis on what solutions are, because CNN's not really gonna tell you details about what real solutions are. You'd have to go to like a real place for that, a real like analysis zone. CNN is where you go to, oh, this breaking story happened, let's go check it in. They're breaking the story down for you, giving you the information, but there's not really any analysis going on. They're just giving you the information. They're just aggregating all the information by talking to whatever experts or people who are on the scene are. So they're trying to move into that direction. That's what you can see here with this comment. So, it says, please know my leadership team is very focused on identifying critical roles and working to put the right people in them. This process is days from being complete, and managers will be able to act soon after. So this is going to be difficult for them to be able to pull off, because honestly, the tough thing about this, and I'm especially understanding this because I'm trying to explain people information like, what non-price factors shift the aggregate demand curve, or what Plato said, or deontological ethics, or blah blah blah. No one wants to hear that stuff, but that is kind of the stuff you have to talk about when you want to talk about these kinds of policies and different stuff. So you have to be able to find somebody who's not only able to really give you that that important information, but they also have to be entertaining in how they deliver it to you. If you're snoozing while they're saying the super valuable information, that information actually isn't valuable because nobody's hearing it. So you could probably get more valuable information from someone if you listen to them 100% than if you were to listen to somebody maybe 1%. This is like an issue with Sam Cedar, right? Like, he's a very intelligent person with a lot of information, but he's very boring. He's a very boring orator, and so he's not going to really reach out to enough people. So that's my personal challenge. I want to be able to explain what things shift the demand curve, what non-price determinants, or what an automatic stabilizer is, or the different things that I've been putting into my videos to explain and whatnot, but still be interesting. So that's going to be my personal challenge, and it appears that that's what they're trying to do here too. So what they're going to have to do is they're going to have to find people who are hosts who are interesting and also simultaneously, have good information that they're able to deliver to people. And that is really fucking hard to do. Even like the Young Turks, I feel like, have really seriously failed at being able to find good hosts. Outside of Cenk and Anna, I feel like they really haven't found any good host, not even like a single good host outside of that can really, take over and really kind of, continue to pass the torch and continue the stream going. So, it'll be interesting to see what they're doing. But if this is really the case, if this is what they end up actually going through, this is huge news, because now one of the main, they're not as big as Fox, but CNN, they're the breaking story news network. So if they're going to change that, and I think it's going to completely fail. Like, I think it's going to be a massive failure because I just believe that CNN, the only value they bring you is the breaking news. That's it. That's all they bring you. I don't think they can give you good analysis of stuff. I don't think they can find you the right people. It's going to be way too corporate influenced anyways. They're not going to give you real analysis anyways. So it's going to be a colossal failure, but it'll be interesting to see them try. We already saw what kind of a flop CNN Plus was. So you already see, like, the track record's not going so well. But this will be fascinating to see, man.